Okay, so now here's where it gets interesting and where I think the majority of the value of this platform comes from, and why I'm really interested in it is because of all of these premium features. These are just what puts this in a new category, in a new class, where that is just really unheard of for a free image generator. So if you get nothing else out of this tutorial, explore those features, because that is what's really rare to find in a free package.
Nomaditsu.
Hey guys, if you've been on the search for the best free AI image generator like I have, it might feel like you've been on a quest for the Holy Grail. Does it even exist? Well, after a lot of searching and a little bit of chance, I feel like I found the Holy Grail of free AI image generation, and that's what we're going to talk about right now. So a few weeks ago, a company reached out to me saying they had a high quality AI image generator that was absolutely free, and they wanted to see if I'd be interested in testing it out and reviewing it on the channel. And I was highly skeptical at first because I've tried free AI image generators before, and I was wondering what made this app different, what made it worth reviewing. And after testing it out, I can say that this is the most extensive, fully featured, high quality AI image generator that is absolutely free, and that's why I'm happy to share it with you today. And that company is Piclumen, who is also the sponsor of today's video. So thank you to Piclumen for sponsoring, and let's get into it. So if you haven't been to their website, the URL is piclumen.com, and you're just going to hit this big button over here, or launch app, and we'll get started. And to create your free account, you're just going to sign up with your Google, Apple, or email. And I'm just going to sign in with my Google account and we'll get started. All right, so once you're logged in, you're going to see these two main tabs here, Explore and Create. And the Explore tab is their community feed. So you could see all the amazing works that are being generated by the community, and you can click on them and you could see what prompt they use. You could copy that prompt. You could see the negative prompt. You could see which model they use, when it was created, the seed that was used, guidance scale, and the resolution it's at. You could also see that in the purple boxes over here, any special settings. So they were using a character reference for this. And down here, this is what really got me excited about this platform, is all of these advanced features that you could use. So you could remix, you could remove the background, you could do inpainting, this is key. You could do colorize, you could do upscaling, that's another big key. And you could variate in a subtle or strong way, and you could do expand, which is like outpainting. So we're going to get into all that, but yeah, let's do a quick sampling of some of this amazing community art. It's all looking awesome. So if you're into any of these kinds of styles, this is the kind of stuff you can create on this site. So let's just dive right into the create. Okay guys, so now we're in the create tab. This is where the magic happens, and this is what got me really excited about the product, because there's so many advanced features here that I really can't believe how this is free. So I'm going to do a walkthrough of all of the features, and then we're going to start generating. So up here you're going to see the model selector, and if you want to see the different examples of styles that are possible, you just roll over this cube over here and it'll show you what the different models do and specialize in. And you can see here we have the realistic one, we have the anime one, we have the line art one, which generates all black and white and grayscale. And then we have this special one, the pony diffusion, which is like the My Little Pony one, which specializes in anthropopharal and humanoid species, which is kind of like its own subgenre. I'm not too familiar with it, so I can't explain too much about it, but there's a big community behind it. And then there's the Flux One Schnell, which is like the fastest version of Flux, the open source amazing AI model. So these are some of the models that they have available, and I could speculate that they might add even more models in the future. That's just my speculation, but that's the model selector. And then over here you have your aspect ratio selector. So this is really cool too. You get to see the different aspect ratios and the resolutions that the image is going to generate in. And over here you could choose from 1 to 4 generations per prompt. And in here, this is your main creation interface. You have your text box where you enter the prompt. And then here's where it gets more advanced, all right? You can add a file and you could use it as a content reference, a style reference, and character reference. Now, this is a premium feature that costs credits, it costs money, It's behind a paywall, so it's really cool to see style ref, character ref, and content ref available on a free product like this. Now, another thing here is they do auto translate. So the image generation is in English only, but depending on your language, it'll automatically translate your native language to English and then it'll generate for you. Another premium feature that is free here is prompt enhance. So you could enter in a simple prompt and then it will use the power of AI to make it more elaborate and more detailed. And that will help you get usually a better image. And then here, I'm actually not sure what this button does. Let's do a test here. Okay, so I don't know what this button does. I still haven't figured it out. Next up, we have upload. So another usually premium feature, you could upload your images and then use the AI tools to edit your image. So that's another cool thing. And on the right side here, you have this toggle, and this is where you could enter your negative prompt, which is the things you don't want to see in the image. Next, you have guidance scale. It's how strongly you want the prompt to influence the generated image. The other thing is the steps, which controls how much detail is in the image. So the higher the steps, the more detail you're going to get. And then you have the seed. And usually I leave this on random, but when you want to put it on fixed is when you have an image that you want to variate on and you want to keep most of it the same, that's when you would want to use the fixed seed. Okay, so now here's where it gets interesting and where I think the majority of the value of this platform comes from and why I'm really interested in it is because of all of these premium features. So you have remix, you have remove BG, you have inpainting, which is really rare to find unlimited for free. You have colorize, which is a unique feature to Pixlumen. You have upscale, you have vary, which lets you create variations on the image, and then you have expand, which is kind of like outpainting. So I think the combination of these features plus these features over here, where you could do content reference, style reference, and character reference, these are just what puts this in a new category, in a new class, where that is just really unheard of for a free image generator. So that's what I wanted to highlight the most. If you get nothing else out of this tutorial, explore those features because that is what's really rare to find in a free package. Okay, so I think what would be most useful is to try out some of these advanced features first, and then we'll do some more of the prompts to try out different styles and different characters and test the limits. So let's go with one of the intro images that I use, and we're going to use some of these features. So first we're going to try remix, and what that does is it copies the prompt, and now I'm going to try, let's use this prompt enhance feature. So that's going to take my original prompt and it's going to use AI to reword it to make it more elaborate, more detailed, and we'll see how that changes the final output. So you could see it is way more extensive, and we're going to choose 4 images and we're going to do 16 by 9 and we're going to generate. And what you're going to see here is we are queued for production. While it's purple, it's queued, and then when it turns green, which is already here, it's generating the image. And you could see here, if I try to generate again, it waits. It makes you wait until the generation is complete. So I think that's how they keep this for free, is you're limited to having a maximum queue of 4 images at the same time. And also what you'll note is if you go to usage dashboard, you can see how many images you generated today and how many fast hours you have. And fast hours is just, those are faster generations. But even if you run out of the fast hours, you're still going to be able to generate. It's just going to take a little longer. So let's go back to the create tab and see how our image is. So it took our prompt and it made it way more elaborate. And so you could see the difference from the last image to these images. So yeah, it changed it, made it more elaborate. So that's a demonstration of the prompt enhance and the remix feature. So let's go back here. And now I'm going to do a remove background action. So let's hit remove background, and you could see, let's clear this. It queued it up for generating, and there you have it. So we have the asset. It is now cut out, and you could download this as a PNG file and you could put it onto any background. So that's super handy, built in. Oh, another thing to note about this is that it works at high resolution. So actually, let's try that. So here I'm going to upscale this to 2x. Okay, so now this image has been upscaled, and let's look at the details here. Yeah, so you could see it's being upscaled, and you could see here that remove BG is still an option. So the other ones you can't do when it's upscaled, but you could still do remove background. And so this is significant because most of the free background image removal websites, what they do is they downscale your image and then they remove the background. But here, you could have a high resolution image and it'll remove the background there. So it didn't do it quite perfectly here. That's interesting to note. It did it perfectly in the other generations that I tried. Actually, let's try that again and see if it works better. Sometimes you have to reprompt. Okay, so it didn't work again. So it looks like, it really depends on the image that you're trying to do. Let me show you. Yeah, so it worked on a smaller scale image. I'm not sure if that's a quirk of the background removal algorithm, but it seems to work better on the smaller image. I'm sure this differs for different kinds of images, so you're going to have to play around with that. All right, now let's try the Inpaint feature. And you could see this is your Inpainting UI. You have the size of the brush down here, and you have the brush. So I'm going to replace this gem over here with, I'm going to cover a bigger area, and I'm going to make it, let's make her be looking at a crystal globe. And let's see what that generates. All right, so it finished generating, and it's not quite what I was expecting or wanting, but that's an example of inpainting. So let's do a little bit more here. Let's see if it could do a better job. Okay, so that generated way better than the last time, and that was more what I was expecting. So here we have a crystal globe, holographic globe, and you could see it's a bit translucent and you see actual globe details. So that was really cool. So that's some of the inpainting. Another thing to remember about inpainting is it's also for removal. So let's see if we can remove this from the image. So let's remove this part of the headpiece, and let's also remove the armband. So let's say remove, and let's see what it does. Okay, so you could see that it removed those jewel things from her hair. It also removed the armband, although it did leave a bit of a tan line here. So just wanted to point that out, that inpainting can also be used for removing objects in addition to adding them. So let's do one more, and let's add in some goggles. All right. Okay, and you could see here, we added some steampunk goggles to her. And yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate what you could do with the inpainting feature here. So yeah, I just wanted to show you, we could transform the picture with inpainting. On the left, we have the before. On the right, we have the after. All right, so now let's go to the first intro image, and let's try the subtle and strong variation. So let's try subtle first, and subtle is generating right here. And so what you'll notice is it took the original prompt and it just modified a few things in the image. So it kept a lot of the composition, a lot of the details, but it changed a little bit. It changed it subtly, of course. So let's see what a strong variation looks like. So we just hit strong, and you could see it looks like it's limited to one image per variation if you're doing the vary option. Okay, this is kind of funny. It took the original image and it varied it extremely away from the original image, and it's pretty much unrecognizable now, and there's no mention of the multicolored crystals or anything. So yeah, you just have to experiment with this. It looks like, yeah, the strong variation was extreme. Let's try it again, but with our second image. Let's see what happens if we vary this strongly. And see what happens. Okay, so here you could see it varied it strongly, but it still kept a lot of the original elements. So play around with that and see how much the vary options change your image. Okay, so now let's take a look at the expand option, and we're going to go beyond the borders of this image and see what happens. So here we have different directions you could expand to, and I'm going to try the expand in all directions and see what more of the scene looks like. So we're going to hit that and we're going to let it generate. All right, so we could see here it zoomed out and you could see more of the scene, and this is really cool. You could see more of the temple that Indiana Jones is in. So very cool, and it looks like it limits it to one level. So I'm guessing that this is a higher resolution, so we can't go beyond that extra resolution. Oh yeah, you could see here 1896 by 1080. So it's limited to one level of expansion overall. All right, now I want to show you this advanced feature called image reference, and specifically content reference. And if you're not familiar with content reference, it's going to refer to the original image and try to use the edges as inspiration for the next image it's going to create. So I'm going to use a famous image of the girl with the pearl earring. Okay, so my prompt is a 1980s female pop star holding a microphone, behind her a crowd of fans in an arena. So let's see what it does with this prompt and this image reference. And there you have it. You could see how it kept the exact same pose, the edges, the negative space over here, and it followed our prompt. So very cool. You have like the modern or the 1980s version of the girl with the pearl earring as a pop star. Let's try a style reference. And if you're not familiar with style reference, it's going to keep the aesthetics and the styles from the original image and transfer that to the new image. So it's not going to do the content or the lines, but it's going to copy the style. So what I'm anticipating it's going to do is it's going to copy this painterly style. It's going to copy the colors and like the soft texture. So I'm going to try a completely different prompt to see how it translates. So I'm doing a 2000s fighter jet in a hangar, and let's say it's at golden hour. And let's generate. Another thing to note is that you could see that the aspect ratio could be changed when you're doing style reference, but it couldn't be changed when you were doing a content reference, because the content reference needs the lines and the canvas needs to be the same. So it didn't quite do what I thought it would, but you could see the colors were transferred over. You could see the yellows and the blues and the grays. If we take a look here, yeah, we have a lot of the colors have been transferred over to the new image, and a bit of the kind of brush strokes you could see here, right? So just to contrast that, let's see what it does without the style reference. Okay, so I'm going to remove this and we're going to generate. All right, so I did the same prompt, but without the style reference, and you could see it's different. It's not using all the same colors. It's higher contrast, it's sharper, and the other one is closer to the style of the original. Okay, so now we're going to try character reference, and this is one of those elusive features where it's usually behind a paywall, and this is so cool to have it unlimited in a free product. So let's give it a shot and see what we get. Prompt I gave is a woman with blonde hair at the grocery store pushing a shopping cart, medium shot. Okay, so let's see what we got. We have the same character in the grocery store. We have the woman with the pearl earring in the grocery and shopping. So you could see it definitely kept the same facial features. And I suspect if we use a higher resolution reference image, it would probably come out with better details, but this is really quite good, right? You could imagine that this is the equivalent person in a modern setting. So I think let's enhance this by keeping the headband. in the image. So I'm going to click out. Okay, now we're talking. Now this looks way closer to the original character. I think, the handkerchief thing just kind of becomes part of her face. We're so familiar with that. So I think it really drives the point home with that here. So you could really imagine that this is the same character from the painting and she's in a modern day grocery store. Very cool. All right, so that covers the most advanced features that I was just super excited to discover in Piclumen and why I was really excited to cover it on the channel. It's very rare to find all of those crazy features that are usually behind a paywall free and unlimited for you, so definitely go take advantage. Now we're going to go into the rest of the standard features and check them out in depth as well. So next up, I want to test the realism that could be achieved with the Piclumen Realistic V2 model and the Flux One Schnell model. So I'm going to try the same prompt for both of these models and see what we get. And this is what we get with the Piclumen Realistic. And you could see, yeah, there's a ton of detail here. This one, the iris was a little bit off, but that happens. But the rest of these, extreme detail. So let's see how this holds up against the Flux model, and we'll generate. Okay, so the Flux model, it doesn't look as realistic, but it's way more vibrant in the colors. So you still get ton of detail, way more vibrant colors. But I would say that the Piclumen looks way more realistic. You know what? Let's try it with the anime as well. Might as well try it for all of them to get a baseline. All right, so I just generated the same iPrompt with the rest of the models. And here we have the anime model. Here we have the line art model. And here we have the pony diffusion model. So next I wanted to see the restrictions on this model. And I asked it to generate SpongeBob SquarePants swimming underwater with Batman. And it happily obliged. So this is really cool to see. So yeah, you could do these kinds of images. The next one I asked for was Super Mario, The Flash, Sonic the Hedgehog, and Iron Man running at high speed in a race through the city. So this was kind of funny. It got the characters, but it kind of mashed them up as well. I don't know who this one is, but let's see the best one. I think this is the best one so far. We don't have the Flash in this one, and we have a mashup of Mario and Iron Man. Here, again, Flash is missing, or this is the closest one to Flash we have, and we have two Sonics. So I think you could see that it kind of struggles with the complexity of the prompts a bit, but yeah, you can do copyrighted characters in this one. Next up, I wanted to test its ability to do likenesses of celebrities. So I had Leonardo DiCaprio and Keanu Reeves having coffee at a diner on Mars. And this was kind of funny. It generated 3 characters in almost every one that I tried. So let's see. So yeah, this one looks like Leo, but it has a bit of a mashup with Keanu, and we have 2 Keanu Reeves over here. Maybe we'll try to fix him up with Inpainting after. Here we have another one that looks like Leonardo DiCaprio over here, a bit of Leo over here, but mashed up with Keanu in all of them. Again, it's a mashup, and again, it's a mashup here. Then I wanted to see more celebs, this time female celebs. So I have Zendaya and Taylor Swift watching TV on the couch, and here it's kind of mashing them up as well. Here it's like they're super young, and Zendaya has an extra arm. This one, it mashed them up again. So I think you're going to have to do some inpainting to fix that, but it does kind of get the celebrities. This was all using the Piclumen Realistic. So let's try that again, but we'll use Schnell. Just for, let's say, for the Keanu Reeves and Leonardo DiCaprio. Let's try to do that with Schnell. Okay, so with the Schnell version, it looks like it's definitely more on Mars, but it lost the likeness. So it doesn't seem like the Schnell model has a lot of the celebrities, or maybe it's blocking the celebrities. So that's something to note. Okay, what I'm going to try now is to fix this face to look more like Leo DiCaprio. So I'm going to Inpaint on the face here. So I finished the generation, and this does look a lot more like Leonardo DiCaprio. His eyes are a bit big for this image, but it does definitely look more like his likeness. And it looks more like Leo having a coffee with Keanu Reeves on Mars. And maybe the bigger eyes because he's on Mars. So that is a way to improve the generation when you're trying to generate celebrities. So I experimented a bit more and found a better technique than inpainting. So here I'm using the character reference feature, and I found that adding the actor's name as well as their image improved the generation. So you could see here that we have a way better version of Leo, and you could see in these different generations looking really good. And also we didn't test the text generation yet, so I wanted to try that out, and I wanted a image that had Mars in the background in orange neon, and here we have it written out perfectly. So yeah, I just wanted to bring that up. Let's try out a bit more of the anime AI model, and I asked ChatGPT to give me a good prompt to test an anime model. So let's generate this. And what I have here is an elegant samurai warrior, long flowing silver hair tied in a traditional top knot, etc., etc. And let's see how it comes out. So let's take a look. Very cool. So we have this samurai warrior with the dragon, really cool details, nice colors, really vibrant and detailed. Awesome. So let's see that in full detail. That's a wallpaper right there. Okay, final feature I wanted to show you is the PicLumen line art model, which generates the black and white grayscale line art, which is perfect for like if you're making a coloring book or just want outlines. So let's try this out. The prompt I gave is a Mercedes-Benz futuristic flying car plane hybrid concept vehicle, and this is going to further test the restrictions on copyrighted material or copyrighted names. Okay, so we have some really cool concept art. Let's take a look. So this looks awesome. I love the detail here. And yeah, you could see it did have the Mercedes logo. Okay, this one's really cool. I want to see this now with colorize. So we didn't cover this yet. I'm going to colorize this image, and we will give it a prompt. Let's say it is deep blue and deep blue. So I give it the prompt deep blue with lime green accents. Okay, so we have our recolored line art here, deep blue with lime green accents. And so guys, what did you think? The combination of all of these crazy advanced features all rolled into one and for free and unlimited is simply unmatched. And that's why I was really happy to share PicLumen with you. And shout out again to PicLumen for sponsoring this video. If you guys found this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you gave a like, a subscribe, shared it with a friend. It really helps the channel grow, and I appreciate you guys. Until the next time, see you in the next one.
Nomaditsu.